Hello everyone, welcome to a shorter Doctor Who news update. Today we're going to be going over the latest images of Ncuti Gatwa in his brand new costume for the Series 15 Christmas special, as well as David Tennant's message at the end of the Dr. Donathon. In addition, we're going to be talking about David Tennant's plea for a Doctor Who PS5 game. But before we get into it, if you could do me a teeny little favour and click that subscribe button, it'd be very much appreciated. We are trying to get as many subscribers as possible before the 60th anniversary airs. And if you enjoy regular Doctor Who news and other forms of Doctor Who videos, I'm going to be doing some more variety in coming days. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, that'd be greatly appreciated. But with that said, let's just get right into the video. So today's Sunday Mirror had this segment. It's pictures of Ncuti Gatwa in his brand new costume for the Christmas special that we've covered previously, the one specifically in what seems to be New York, obviously filmed in Cardiff. The Hooli and the Ivy by Karen Rocket. New Doctor Who Ncuti Gatwa looks ready for Christmas action as he throws on a delectable festive coat in his shoot for the sci-fi series. The Sex Education star, 31, is about to become the 15th Time Lord and the first black actor to get the keys to the TARDIS, when he appears in the seasonal special in December. But he looked relaxed on set in Cardiff this week, as he was snapped smiling and reading between takes. Ncuti first appeared as the Doctor in a trailer for the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials, which start later this month. His first series kicks off next year. So yeah, here are where the pictures came from. Unfortunately, they don't credit where the pictures came from, and I've got a couple of interesting things to say about this. But first, here are closer-up versions of these images. And yeah, he looks absolutely fantastic, and he looks like he's looking at something, but he looks very happy to be in New York. Now, the Sunday Mirror reports that this is a festive coat. However, I have some reason to believe that this is actually just a crew coat, in the vein of, as you can even see, if we go back to this coat, you can kind of see one of the logos looks vaguely similar to that that's on the crew coat. So I don't think this is part of his costume. I think this is a crew coat, but I think that leather coat is part of the costume. This costume's somewhat interesting because it seems to be a bit of a blend of costumes we've seen before for Ncuti. The leather coat is very similar to the leather coat we've seen him in the previous Christmas special, the 2023 upcoming Christmas special. It's weird to call that the previous Christmas special, but it is in this context. As well as a new version of the shirt that we've already seen him wearing in the 2023 Christmas special, this time in yellow specifically, but the trousers look exactly the same as the ones from his reveal costume. So it appears to be a little bit of a mix and match between those two, which I actually really quite like. He's also wearing yellow suspenders, which other people have pointed out is very doctory, and I agree. It seems like the 15th Doctor, if this is anything to go by at least, kind of is more settled into his style by Series 15. Perhaps Series 14, if I'm to speculate, has a lot of him trialing different outfits and kind of settling on his sort of style by the end. I don't know. I'm just guessing. He could be just as extravagant as ever in Series 15. But given this one and the vague looks we've seen of a purple suit look, his looks do seem to be becoming more refined with time. And I hope that is the case, because as much as I love all the variety of Series 14, I think the strongest look so far has definitely been that leather coat one, and I'm glad that's being continued in some form. But here was one of the big things I wanted to talk about. David Tennant made a surprise appearance at the end of the Dr. Donathon at the Genesis Cinema, so these were the people who went to go and see the Dr. Donathon at the Genesis Cinema. Well done to anyone who sat there for 48 hours. Obviously, I know there was breaks, but that's a long time to be sat in a cinema. But yeah, they had this clip play at the end, which I'll play here.
That's it! Well done. Whoa. And many of you really sat there for 14 hours. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for joining in the Dr. Donathon here at the Genesis Cinema! It's been a blast, and make sure you tune in to the Doctor and Donna's newest adventures. It's the 60th anniversary specials on the 25th of November!
Also from Crystal D, who was at the Dr. Donathon, in her TikTok, there's brief glimpses of an opening skit from David, as well as a little bit from Russell T Davies on set, where you can kind of see bits and bobs of different things as well. Stephen Moffat spoke about the possibility of a unit spin-off. Speaking to Radio Times, Moffat said, "I like them. I always have a slight suspicion that the thing that's best for Doctor Who is that Doctor Who is in it. You don't improve a Doctor Who by taking Doctor Who out of it," said the writer of Blink. So I don't know. There's loads of things you can do. There's loads of ideas in Doctor Who that are good enough for their own show. That's the truth. The obvious one is unit. I was always half tempted to do a Jenny and Vastra solving crimes in Victorian London with big swords. I thought that would be quite fun. I never got round to it because I was kind of busy, but I'm sure whatever Russell comes up with will be exactly the right idea. So yeah, he not only says that Unit seems to be the obvious choice, but also that he wanted to do a Jenny and Vastra spin-off back in the day, which I think is quite interesting. I wouldn't have minded that. Although I do find it very interesting that even Stephen Moffat's saying that the Unit is the obvious choice, which is even more interesting when you consider that in SFX magazine, Davis seemed to say that some of the things that were suggested in the tabloids with regards to spin-off weren't true. Now, he didn't specify whether that meant the Unit spin-off, but that was the one that was most heavily speculated. So if that is untrue, it does seem like a bit of a missed opportunity if even Stephen Moffat's saying it's the one that makes sense. Although having said that, I also do get what Stephen Moffat's saying about the Doctor Who stories being better with the Doctor in them. Speaking of SFX, this was kind of put on Twitter and I wanted to talk about it. David Tennant had a whole interview alongside Russell T Davies, and he said that there was one thing his fan gene would desire, and he said, I'd like a fully realised PlayStation 5 game where my kids could play as me as the Doctor, except they wouldn't. They'd be like, no, we want to be Jodie, which is really cute. And I've always said, I'd love a full, big budget Doctor Who game. Please do it. I'd like it to be open world. You could fly the TARDIS. It'd be incredible. Anyone who does that, it would be incredible. I mean, obviously, Doctor Who would probably have to get a bit bigger to justify that, but I would be there day one buying that, because I don't think we've truly had a great Doctor Who video game. The closest we ever got was LEGO Dimensions back in like 2014, and even that was just part of a bigger thing. I want a fully realised Doctor Who game. I would definitely eat that up, and I'm sure a ton of you would as well. But that about wraps up today's news update. Apologies for it being a bit shorter, but I've been very tired, to be honest with you, but I wanted to give you the update. Also, David Tennant came third place in the DILF Awards, which I just think is very funny, and Georgia Tennant had a very funny response to that. Yeah, I didn't want to do a whole section on that, I just felt like mentioning it because I thought it was funny. Also, apologies if any of you heard fireworks during this recording. I don't know how much the microphones are going to pick them up, if it picked them up at all. Obviously, there's not much I can do about that. Bonfire night. I'm not a huge fan. I've got a dog, and the dog's going absolutely crazy at all the fireworks. Yeah, not a huge fan. But let me know, did you do anything for Bonfire Night? I'd be curious. What's your thoughts on Bonfire Night? I'm not a big fan personally, but yeah, maybe you guys are. Maybe you guys can convince me that Bonfire Night is great. But thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you're new, like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.